I've reviewed many retro emulation handhelds straight out of China over the past few years, and while some have been better than others, for sure I've had my favorites and then some I just could care less about. My goal has always been to just let people know what's out there, what's available, what my thoughts are, show the performance, discuss whatever quirks there are that I may find that I think people would want to know about, right? And as they continue to release these things, I mean, with little revisions here and there, none of them really became something where I thought, man, I'm going to use this all the time. Performance was just never really there for me, even though they did do a lot of things. I just never found one I was like, yeah, I'm going to use this all the time. But now that's changed. Finally, we got a new chipset, a new, more powerful system. Today, we're going to be taking a quick look at the RG552 from Anbernic. Now, I'm not here to say that this is the greatest thing ever, but it is definitely the best that I've used from any of these companies, Anbernic or Powkitty, any of them out there. This is the best handheld, straight out of China, that I've used. So let's get right on into it. Inside the box, we get the system itself, a manual that goes over pretty much everything you'll need to know, a USB-C charging cable, and a brick. Now, this thing does charge fast with the provided power supply. Also included in my kit was 2 micro SD cards, one a 64 gigabyte with an emulation build on it, and one 64 gigabyte card with ROMs on it. Around 4,200 games with some room to add more, which I did add a few games to test for this video. The handheld itself also has 64 gigabytes of storage built into it for the Android build that it comes with. It also came with a tempered glass screen protector, which I already installed, and depending on the bundle you buy, you may get more items or different size micro SD cards or some other accessories. This is just what I got. So the RG552, it's a lot larger than any of the other Anbernic handhelds. It has a 5.36-inch Oka laminated IPS 10-point multi-touch screen at a resolution of 1920 by 1152. Little odd resolution there, but it works. Now for the CPU, where we got that power, we have an RK3399, which is a hexa-core 64-bit 1.8 gigahertz processor. And for the GPU, a Mali T860. Included is also 4 gigabytes of RAM, and the system has two 3200 milliamp hour lithium-ion batteries, which provide around 6 hours of life on a full charge. Inside the system is a silent active heatsink turbo fan, which, yeah, doesn't really make any noise from the way I could tell. I mean, I've listened to it. I hear no noise from the fan from all the hours I've played this so far. Now, it also has 2 micro SD card slots, all your normal Anbernic face buttons and switch-style analog sticks. We have an HDMI port to use this on a TV as a console if you wish, then the USB-C ports for OTG and charging. Now, I don't want to bore you with testing all the 8 and 16-bit stuff that we normally take a look at. I mean, that all works great. Super Nintendo, NES, Sega Genesis, TurboGrafx. Most of your old, arcade games, retro arcade games, not going to have any issues there. They all look beautiful on this screen. I wanted to test some stuff that people requested. And now that this video is live, I hope you guys can drop a comment down below on what else you'd like me to test or try on the system after the video is done, obviously. I mean, see what I test so far, but a lot of it's, what people ask me to take a look at. Now, I tested stuff like GameCube, Wii, Sega Saturn, plus a few others like Dreamcast, which I normally do test as it's kind of a mixed bag type of thing. Now, even though some of the games performed just fine for these systems, I'd imagine there could be problem games here and there. Definitely couldn't see this being 100% compatible with all those systems, but I was surprised to see everything I tried with Sega Saturn worked great. Like, it was fluid, no graphics issues, glitching, no sound issues. Everything booted up, but like I said, I can't confirm that 100% of the library is going to be that way. I played Sega Saturn through the little emulation build that was included, and then I also added some games, played it on the Android build that is built into the system through RetroArch. No issues. Now, Sega Dreamcast, as I said, is usually a mixed bag for me with these types of devices anyway. But again, it performed beautifully. It was great, like just no issues. I tested some games that normally I would get like a little slowdown maybe when the game started up, that kind of thing. And I didn't have any of that. It just felt perfect, like booting up a game on my actual PC that I use or on my Sega Dreamcast that I own. Like it just performed well, like no issues there. Now, PSP didn't really have any issues either. I say I can't confirm the whole library, but playing stuff like Grand Theft Auto, it was smooth. No big issues there. Also, some people asked about Killer Instinct, like both the arcade version and the Nintendo 64 game. So I had to test that stuff out. Now, with most stuff on the Nintendo 64, it worked fine for me. Like I didn't see as many issues as I normally do. But Killer Instinct Gold did have issues. I figure I probably need to try a few more emulators, possibly tweak some settings, which I did do, but I'm sure I could take it a little further to see if I could find anything. I mean, you do have more freedom with the Android side of things here, using the built-in emulators and all the cores that are available to download through RetroArch. Now, I did try, a few different emulators and settings trying to get the best out of Killer Instinct, both on the Nintendo 64 and the arcade version. I just had mixed results with both. Like, nothing played well enough for me. I figured maybe I just need to do a little bit more testing. The arcade version of Killer Instinct, love that game, but yeah, not really playable for me. A little too slow here, but I did get things to improve slightly, so I don't want to give up on these games. You guys have any suggestions for sure, drop them down below. Now, I also tested the Nintendo Wii. This was one where I had to play with some settings again, and I had some mixed results with that. I'll have to try some more games for the Wii. Let me know some suggestions in the comments. But, the games were a little slow. Manipulating some settings would improve, but still not 100%, not even close to 100% to where I was satisfied with playing the Wii on this system. But on the other hand, testing out GameCube was a bit better. Mario Kart Double Dash seemed to play decently well, but again, can't test every single game, but if you have any suggestions, throw them out there. Now, also if you boot into the Android OS, which you simply do by not having the Linux emulation build SD card plugged into the first port, like, the first slot, you can use Moonlight to play games off of your PC. This is kind of cool, and there's a lot of interesting things you could do here. One thing to point out, though, is if you're booting into Android, like I said, just don't have that micro SD card in the first slot. Like, remove it so you don't boot into the emulation build. You can use the extra SD card that has ROMs on it to access that stuff to play on the different emulators on the Android side of things. But make sure when the system recognizes that you have that micro SD card in there to choose to use it as portable storage and not internal storage. If you choose the wrong option, it may format your micro SD card and you will just lose all those games and whatnot. So be careful with that. Just use it as portable storage and you could select all those games to play through all those different emulators. So overall, I am fairly impressed with this handheld. I mean, it's not 100% perfect, but it does offer a lot in the way of tweaking things if need be. The build quality is nice. The buttons and D-pad are just okay. I mean, if you used any of the recent Anbernic handhelds, you kind of know what to expect. I mean, for some, they may feel a bit mushy, but overall, everything responds well. Not too much to complain there. Now, with the extra power of this device comes extra on the price. This one's going for around $220. Now, with all that said, would I choose to pay $220 for the RG552, or would I choose to pay $140 for the RG351M? I feel for me the extra $80 would be worth it with, how you could do a lot more and just that boost in power. But I mean, obviously, you get to decide for yourself. I don't get to tell you that $220 is worth it. You let me know. I mean, that's what I want to know. Is this worth it to you? And any suggestions? I want to continue doing a few follow-ups on this device, testing everything out, because yeah, with the price being a little more hefty, people may want to really know what they're getting themselves into. And with the limitations of, videos here. Can't go on for 3 hours in one video. Might have to break it up a little bit. So whatever you guys suggest down below, I will try in the next video. Appreciate every single one of y'all, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.